everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Shaylin Adanya if you're new, and if you're not, welcome back. This is actually my first time filming on my camera, so I hope the quality is not bad. We're gonna test it. Usually I film on my phone, but long story short, something's wrong with my camera. So I've had this camera for over 5 years and I've literally never used it to film videos at all, just take pictures. So I really hope this video is going to turn out good and the quality is better for you all. So we're gonna have a little chat and we're gonna talk about actually becoming expensive. So what it means to become expensive is when a woman actually knows who she is and she acts like it. She knows her worth and she understands her feminine energy and all the aspects that come with it. She enters and awakens this irresistible magnetic woman. With that magnetic energy comes a shift in how she handles every aspect of her life. And when I speak on becoming expensive, I'm not talking about getting rich, I'm talking about your energy. Some people might think that the women who become expensive with their energy become very high maintenance. And as you cultivate that woman mentality and you become the woman that you want to be, you're going to be more high maintenance, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what comes with actually being conscious of the things that you want in life. And once you're aware of that and you hit that stage in your energetic journey, all of your surroundings, everything shifts. And when that happens, a lot of people are going to want you to go back to being your low maintenance self, the person who might have had boundaries but didn't stick with them, let a lot of things slide, didn't take care of themselves or treat themselves as special as they should have, did not treat their body like a temple and their mind like a garden. And a lot of people are going to expect that low maintenance energy out of you. And it's up to you to not conform and go back to your old ways. And depending on who you're surrounding yourself with, and if it's people that actually have a growth mentality or not, it's most likely going to be your inner circle that will struggle with your new magnetic energy. But for romantic relationships, especially if it's like a brand new relationship and you were this one woman and then you cultivated your that one mentality to be this completely different woman while you're in your newfound relationship, some men will try to dupe you into going back to being low maintenance because that's what they like. You're easy, chill, very nonchalant. And you should just really look out for men like that. But little do they know, once you hit that expensive energy and aura, there's no going back. You literally cannot go back because you won't want to. So if they can't handle that and they're not okay with that, you just gotta go somewhere else. Honestly, there's this quote I found on Pinterest, and Pinterest is the #1 social media I go on. I just love it so much. And the quote is, "I'm freaking gold, but if you prefer silver, that's okay. You can go find less." And I just love that quote so much because when you live by that, you create this lifestyle where you're not going to let anyone stop you from getting what you want or having that luxurious mindset that you want. And you're not going to dim your light or show up less because other people tell you to or because they want that from you. And this goes for literally every relationship in your life, but especially for romantic relationships. If someone thinks that you're too high maintenance for them, you need to let them go find less because they can't handle you. And if he wants to go get something cheaper, that's okay. But it is self-sabotage for you to dim your light and make yourself low maintenance just to make another person happy and be able to feel like, all right, well, I can deal with this. And what I mean by high maintenance and low maintenance, I'm speaking on the luxuries that you want to give yourself. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. For example, my skincare routine is extremely in-depth. It takes a long time, especially if I am doing my head-to-toe skincare routine. It will literally take me hours in the bathroom. I will just be there in the bathroom for hours. So therefore, I need my man to be very patient with me because I'm not skipping and I'm not rushing something that I find is very sacred and it's ritual for me just because it annoys you. Have you guys seen these videos called Pop the Balloon or Find Love? I don't watch them all the time, but I do think it's so interesting to watch them and I can see their personalities. There's this one guy, it was a guy with a line of girls. He asked this one girl, you wear a lot of makeup every single day. And she says, yeah. And he asks, how long does it usually take you to do your makeup? And then she's like, I don't know, maybe an hour. And he popped her balloon because he didn't want her. And his reasoning for that was because he said that she's probably going to take forever, and when he's ready to go, he's ready to go. And that's good for him. That's his boundary. For me specifically, I would have popped his balloon because I do not like being rushed. I like taking my time to look my personal best. And I know for a fact, I'm sorry if you hear so much stuff going on in the background. I think they're like I don't know, they're just working or something. But I know for a fact it takes me probably more than 3 hours to do my skincare and my pamper routine. So right off the bat, I will not be compatible with a person that has that type of mentality. And I'm not going to make myself low maintenance or lower what I like to do to pamper myself to accommodate your preferences and what you like. Because when I settle for that and I allow his expectations for relationships to define what I choose to do with my life, I will be miserable literally for the rest of my life if I'm with a guy like that forever because I made myself low maintenance to fit into his box. And that's just one side of what I mean by being high maintenance and low maintenance. Everyone has their boundaries, and it's a really great green flag when you stick to your boundaries. And you should want a partner that's going to stick to their boundaries and respect your boundaries and not fold. So if he can't handle your pamper routine, what you like to do on your spare time, if he thinks you're so high maintenance because you spend hours in the bathroom trying to look good for yourself, or you're just really high maintenance to a point where if you guys are together, you're not touching that doorknob until he grabs it for you, I will wait there. I will let my boyfriend open the door for me. I will wait by the next door so he can open it for me again. That's just what I like. So if he can't handle things like that and you're high maintenance in those ways, that's okay. He can go get something cheaper. Don't let him dupe you into being low maintenance. You are gold, babe. You're not breaking silver. Matter of fact, you are far more precious than jewels. And if he can't handle that, that's his preference and that's on him. A lot of women need wake-up calls because in this society, it's just how it is. As women, we just happen to be the biggest flex for men and society for some reason. They say that women are a man's biggest indicator of wealth. I do feel like it's a boy mentality when boys are like the biggest flex is the fact that I can get a lot of girls and have sex with them because that just shows me that that's all they care about, having sex with as many women as they want. They don't have that provider family man mentality that a lot of women seek, who are ready for serious relationships and who dates and marries. And becoming expensive is being able to decipher between boys and men because even though they may look like grown men, not all of them will act like it. So it's your job to decipher for yourself to decide, well, he's a man child, he's not for me. When you become expensive, you respect yourself, meaning that you want an actual gentleman, you don't want a man child. I have my handy dandy notes right here. So let's break down really quick how men act versus how boys act. Men are gentlemen, they have a provider mindset, and they are confident without needing to be told every 5 minutes how great they are. They don't need the praise, they already know what they're worth. Even though, of course, it's nice to praise them every now and then. Men are leaders, they have leadership mentality, and men are caring and they are hardworking. So that is what the world defines and the internet defines as men. Not to say that that's wrong or anything, but I did dive a little bit more deeper into what a godly Christian man is, and those characteristics are they love sacrificially, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not self-seeking, it is not proud, it is not angered, it keeps no records of wrongs, love believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things, and love never fails. That is what I define as love, and that is what I define as how a godly man should act when it comes to loving his wife. I didn't say that word for word, but yes, love is sacrificial and it is selfless. Ephesians 5:25, he is going to love you like you are his own body. A godly man leads with wisdom and humility. He's a provider and he's not harsh and he's not bitter with you and he's patient with you. He's faithful and honorable. He wants to protect you and cherish you. He wants to protect you emotionally, spiritually, and physically. You know, it was actually it took a little bit of work for me to actually find these because it's not like there's a section for men like a Proverbs 31 woman. I had to look up the godly characteristics of man and it brought me to all the different books in the Bible. I know I'm not the only one where it's like, where can I find for just a godly man? Like, where can I find the characteristics for that in the Bible? But no, we have to search for it a little. Also, boys will let you come to them, men will come to you. It says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing. If he has like a man-child personality, he's not going to go find you, babe. If he wants a low-maintenance woman, he may seek you out, but he's not looking for a wife. He's just looking for a good time. So let's talk about boys. So man-childs, they're disrespectful, they're selfish, they only think of themselves. They don't really think much about your well-being, and they lack accountability and leadership qualities. They're unfaithful and harsh towards you, and they act like you're too much to deal with when it comes to basic needs. And that is just a little list of the characteristics of a man-child. If you're out there dating to marry and you have a guy with that boy mentality, it's time to go. Move on and wait for God to give you the man that's actually worthy of your time and energy. Because remember, as women, we don't chase, we attract. I feel like I say this in like every single one of my sessions, and I'm going to keep saying it. Our bodies are sacred. Our bodies are our temples, and our mind is a garden. It is not something you should take lightly. We are temples of the Holy Spirit, and we need to act like that. God didn't just say, "Here, my daughter, I put you here on this earth. You're precious to me. Therefore, go ahead and let men treat you disrespectfully." Matter of fact, go ahead and treat yourself disrespectfully. I mean, I just created you. It's not like you're a temple or anything. It's not like you're precious and sacred. We are. Therefore, don't treat yourself like that. Like, think of God looking down at you, looking at his precious daughter. Think of how he watches you treat yourself the way that you do. Will he be upset? Or will he be like, "That's my daughter. She's treating herself like a temple. She's making sure that she's going to be cherished by a man that is actually worthy of her." And vice versa, when you become expensive, you need to put away with your childish things. Think about the verse in the Bible: when I was a boy, or when I was a child, I spoke like a child, I acted like a child. But when I became a man, I put away with the childish things. Same goes for women. You can't want a godly and, they say, high value man if you're not willing to act like that yourself. Why would he want you? Why would he want to give you anything if you're acting like a little girl? So, you know what I did? Now that we spoke about the man versus boy, we're going to talk about the woman versus girl. I am not going to read Proverbs 31 for you because you ladies already know. And if you need a refresh, read it again. It speaks on the characteristics, and she is very kind, and she's gentle, and she practices philanthropy. She's a giver, she's a nurturer, and she treats herself well. But what I am going to do, I'm going to bring my notes back here, is speak on the girl mentality. Girls, they seek validation. You can tell when women have their expensive energy or when they're just acting like a girl based on how they dress. Literally look at how they dress. If they're wearing something very provocative, it's not to say consciously that they disrespect themselves. It's honestly to say subconsciously they don't really know their worth like that, and they're seeking validation, which outwardly makes it look like you don't respect yourself. Girls are very argumentative. Girls will try to argue over something that you literally cannot even argue about. And they'll dress in ways that diminish their worth. When they dress like that, it makes them appear very cheap, which is why you literally cannot have that expensive energy and act like a little girl at the same time. It does not fit. No matter how hard you will try to be like, I can dress up provocative, I can show all my goodies, and I will just radiate in expensive energy. That's not a thing. It's not even possible, even if you wanted it to be. You can't do it. Girls are selfish, and it's not the good kind of selfish. There is a good kind of selfish. The good kind of selfish is honestly just respecting your boundaries and giving yourself grace. It's being hardworking and being selfless, but also not feeling guilty about giving yourself a little grace and being, you know what? I want to take today off from work and I want to go get my nails done. I've worked really hard. My body needs this rest. I feel exhausted. I'm going to go do this. And then that same day, getting a phone call coming saying, I really need this done. I need you to help me, but it's actually not even important anyway at all. I'm sorry, but I'm unavailable. That is what I mean by the good type of selfish. The bad type of selfish is just straight up selfish. Knowing that you have the ability to help that person, you just don't want to because you have that mentality that selfish people live longer. Or you just really are like, it's all about me. And that's not to say being the main character of your own life is a bad thing. It's a great thing. You should be the main character of your own life and not live through the lens of someone else's. But when you're this version of selfish, you're a literal brat. When you're living in that girl mentality, you're unprepared. When you become expensive, you are prepared. It's like it's in the book of Matthew, and Jesus is speaking on preparation. I actually would love to read it for you guys. I wonder if I can find it. Don't you just love how our sessions always consist of some sort of Bible study? I love it. Alright, so I'm just gonna read this first part. And this is Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 to 13. It's about preparation and staying ready. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps but did not take any oil with them. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight, the cry rang out, "Here's the bridegroom, come and meet him." Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish ones said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, our lamps are going out." "No," they replied, "there may not be enough for both us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves." But while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived. The virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the others also came. Lord, Lord, they said, open the doors for us. But he replied, truly I tell you, I don't know you. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour. This does have to do with Jesus' return, but it's also literally a great example of what I just said. There's a good definition of being selfish. It's okay to be selfish in that way because you know for a fact that if I give you this, that's self-sabotaging myself. But also think about it like the difference between having that woman mentality and acting like a little girl. Those women were ready, they're prepared. The other set of women weren't ready. They were unprepared and they acted like little girls. They were not prepared. They had to go get what they needed, and when they came back, they missed their opportunity. When you enter that expensive energy, you have to take that out the window. You have to let go of that old lifestyle. It can't come with you. If you want to know the characteristics that come with being a woman and literally your expensive energy, read Proverbs 21. But let's talk about what you do in this world to give yourself that expensive energy. And it is the simplest sentence ever. All you have to do is just focus on getting hotter and smarter and working on yourself spiritually, mentally, and physically. That is all you have to do, because when you focus on yourself and you focus on that sentence, you will effortlessly become expensive. It's not an aesthetic, it's an aura. It's something you acquire from actually working on yourself. If you focus on becoming expensive and the aesthetic of it, you are literally being fake to yourself, because it's not just about that. It requires a lot of inner work. It's called inside out. Once you focus on the inward parts of you, the outer parts of you will literally effortlessly radiate that. And don't focus on what society views as hot and attractive. Be your own version of that. Because when you think about it, the physique that is supposedly like attractive today, which is that whole slim thick thing, that was not the case 50 years ago. That was not the case in like what, the 1940s or something. The 1940s, it was being a pencil, and girls would get offended if they said your butt looked fat. Nowadays, it's not the case. Women view it as a compliment. And I wonder what the next hot and attractive physique is going to be for women in the next like 30, 40 years. Because I guarantee you something about it is going to change. That is why you should just stay away from trends. Whatever physique you think will look best on your body, that you actually want for yourself, and you take society and what the world says out of the equation, that's what you do. Because trends are temporary, and if what the world says is attractive now, in like 30, 40 years, changes, and a lot of women did all that plastic surgery, they did some irreversible things, and they realized like 30 years later, oh my gosh, I'm not hot anymore. This isn't what the female physique is supposed to be, to look attractive anymore. I just messed up everything. You're gonna screw yourself over and you're gonna be depressed. Don't focus on trends. Look at yourself in the mirror. Think of, all right, what will make me feel like the most hottest, sexiest version of myself, and do that. And also, I feel like this goes without saying, but becoming expensive is also working on your finances. And I'm honestly just gonna leave it at that, because when you have your finances in order, you can give yourself the life that you want, and you can outwardly live however expensive lifestyle that you want. When you enter your expensive energy, you are less accessible to others. I will speak about that more in another session, but if you want to, you can watch my previous video, which is titled The Old Money Effect, and it does talk a little bit more about being less accessible to others. Basically, to sum it up, you make your life VIP invite only. Once again, your time and your energy is sacred. Make your life a VIP access only, and only give out the invitation to your mindset, to your energy, when you feel is necessary and when you want to. There is nothing wrong with excluding people who will literally drain your life force. Don't feel bad at all. But also, don't use that as an excuse to not practice philanthropy. God teaches us about stewardship, and he also teaches us about using everything that we have that he's given us wisely. And God does not like selfishness. So when you make your time and your energy sacred, make sure you're still kind-hearted. When you make your time and your energy sacred, that just means you're no longer being nice. Nobody wants you to be nice. Being nice is being a pushover. What the Bible speaks on is being kind. Nice people are people pleasers. Being kind is actually having a kind, genuine heart, and also being able to say no. Having a kind, genuine heart also means you practice philanthropy. You give back to those who need it. You help others. I mean, granted, you don't help people who are trying to manipulate you into giving them something when they could do it well on their own, but you actually help those who genuinely need it, and you're just sweet, and you just have a kind heart and nature about yourself. When you're expensive, people will see that you thought long and hard about your decision before making it. You weren't reckless, you weren't impulsive, you actually thought long and hard about making those decisions that you needed to make. Your energy is always felt before it is seen. Your energy is something that you don't need words for. It's just your aura and your presence. So if you really want to become expensive, it's not about flashing your riches. It's not about flashing your bank account. It's an actual practice and requires actual inner work in order for you to radiate it and become magnetic. It's not something you can fake. Let me rephrase that. It's not that it's not something you can fake, because of course you can fake it, but if you do fake it, you'll be transparent to those who actually worked on it. So that is actually all I have for today's session. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. I cannot wait to see you ladies in the next session. Bye, loves.